Welcome back to the Florida series, everyone. So my dad and I decided to do a little lobster hunting, and they are very tricky to catch, as you can see right here. But my dad gets one, and this is our first time ever snorkeling for lobster in Florida.
Guys! Oh, I bet that took your breath away. Guys, our first lobster in Florida. Oh, God, I can't believe it. Nice job.
To keep and harvest a lobster in Florida, the carapace has to be at least 3 inches long.
I would say he's definitely a keeper.
And we made a little mark exactly 3 inches on our tickle stick for easier measurement. I grabbed the dive bag, which fell to the bottom, and we secured the lobster in there. It has a little latch on it so they cannot crawl out. And that was officially our first ever Florida lobster. What made this so exciting is this was also the first place we stopped in the boat. And within a few minutes of being underwater, we were finding lobster. I thought I found a nice one here, and it was just a shell. I'm a bit of a newbie. We're both a bit of a newbies there. In fact, my dive knife keeps falling out. People ask me where I get my dive knife, and I don't tell them because I wouldn't recommend this one. I'm basically going to use it till the day I lose it, but every time it falls out, I keep finding it again. So I've had it through all these years, but it is not a good one. It's not a very good knife. It always falls out. Look how me ancients going underwater and turning upside down. He is good at this. He's in his 60s, folks, and he is still diving like a boss and catching creatures. Caught a lot of octopus in Hawaii. We didn't see a single octopus here in Florida, but we found lobsters everywhere. Like I said, this was our first spot. This guy was a little undersized, so we let him go. We saw a lot of little ones underneath the ledge.
He was too small anyway. That was cool though. Yeah, there's another one. It's kind of hard to dive for when it's this deep.
It was a little deep for our snorkeling abilities, but there were so many cool things. This was the first time I ever found a conch shell. Conch, conch, whatever you call them. I think it has to do with where you're at. Tomato. But I found this conch shell, and at first I was like, I'm going to keep this and we can eat some delicious conch. And then I thought, wait a second, I better look up the regulations, and sure enough, they are protected. So I had to let it go. But it was cool finding it. So me ancient just keeps going along the ledges, searching for the big lobster. We bypass some smaller ones that were tucked back in there, but when you find one that looked like a keeper, he'd take his tickle stick, poke the little devil, and pull him out of the hole. It was really that simple. We were surprised at how simple it was. We were having a blast.
Another one. Guys, oh my goodness. How about your beat? That's deep. I think there's another one down there too. I'll get the measuring stick. Definitely a keeper. Yeah, another one? Yeah, I think so. Let's get 3.
So me ancient carefully pokes this one from its hole. They really don't like that tickle stick, but when it came out, it was a little on the small side. We could kind of tell visually it just wasn't going to be big enough, so we let this one alone, but it was still cool.
Too small. Yeah, but just... That's crazy. There's another one under there. He just died. They're just all under the ledges. Yeah, you just have to check ledges. That's it. I can see if you had a scuba gear, you could really whoop up on it. This is crazy. I don't know if we just discovered a good spot on our first try, or if this is just like normal.
So I decided to give it a go myself, give me ancient a little break. So I swim down to about 12 feet or so is my guess. Interesting fact, folks, I cannot equalize underwater. I've tried all different methods, I've watched YouTube videos, and then come to find out that there are other people who say they cannot equalize underwater either. So this is about the max depth I can go. Any deeper and my ears simply hurt too much. That little lobster gave me the slip there.
You're faster than I thought. You gotta get behind him, don't you?
So at this spot, my dad spied something colorful on the bottom. You can see he's equalizing on his way down, no problem. And he picks up a beautiful shell. Like, you could sell this puppy if you fixed it up, cleaned it up, and put it in a store.
Beautiful. Wow. That's really beautiful.
So this rock here had an excellent little cave in it, perfect for a big lobster. And sure enough, this guy's hanging out in there, along with a few of his fish friends. It had multiple entrances, so my dad could poke the tickle stick in there to try to get him to come out. But this guy was a little savvy. He knew what was up.
I think that's a keeper for sure.
But me ancient kept at him. He dove down probably at least a dozen times to try to get this one lobster. My guess is people have tried to catch this one before, because this guy was extra tricky. There were 3 total entrances to this cave, and he would just slide back and forth, and finally, my dad gets him to poke his head out a little bit here, and he misses. Let's see a replay of that. It was so close. Just misses. They're faster than they appear. Now, finally, my dad goes down. This is probably like the 12th or 14th time that he dove down, and he got a new method. Just kind of pried him out of there with the tickle stick and got the prize. This was definitely a keeper here.
Nice job. I think that's a keeper. You tired? You're done? 3 is enough. Oh my God. Oh, what a nice lobster. I will measure just in case.
He got away. We spent too much time celebrating. Never celebrate too early, folks. He hadn't gone back in the cave yet, so I swam down, but it was kind of hard for me because I had the camera equipment in my hand. I kind of made a little attempt to grab him, but I didn't want to scare him back in the cave. He kind of inched his way back toward it. By the time my dad got a good breath and swam down, the lobster had already gotten back in there. But here's something interesting. When we dove down to see where the lobster had gone, there was a baby shark in the back of the cave. And we don't think he swam in there while we weren't looking. I think he was back there the whole time. But check out how the lobster is back in the crevice there. We wonder if the lobster kicked the shark out of that crevice and got back there himself. Don't know, just a theory. And then watch that spot there. While my dad's trying to get the lobster out, the little shark swims out and makes his getaway. I personally think the shark was back there the whole time. While we're swimming back to the boat, we see the antennae sticking out of a really nice lobster under a small rock. And that's the best combo, when you find a big lobster under a small rock there. And this guy was fairly easy to dislodge, but he got away and tried to make an escape to another rock. Fortunately, the path that he chose was the wrong direction. There were no big rocks where he was at, so you can still see him out in the open there, crawling along the bottom. He was looking for a place to hide, and while he was doing that, my dad got another good breath and was able to swim down and snag him. Got him. Big old lobster. I think that was the biggest one of the day right there.
Nice. Put him in the bag right away.
Notice how there was no celebration this time. We stuck him straight in the bag. I measured him while he was in there. He was more than a keeper. Close to 4 inches, that guy. And then right in the same area, my dad spotted another big lobster under an even smaller rock. This was a great first one for me to catch because it was really easy. The rock actually moved, and I wrestled him out of there. And I was surprised how strong they were. For crustaceans, they have a kick to them. And this another one was definitely a keeper. 4 keepers on the day.
All right. Look at that. That is so cool. Guys, check it out. In here we got our lobster sanctuary. There we go. Just like the Red Lobster tank. That is so cool. Guys, just got back to the harbor and look who's coming. A big old manatee. This has been the first time I've ever seen manatees ever in my life. Up close and personal. They live in this harbor here. That is so cool. Fish? Looks like a
big whale to me.
You can see his hair on the back, on his back underwater there.
And then look at those scars. He's been hit by motors before, and those are his scars from the
Can you see the
hits.
outline of the hair on his back by his flipper there, right? Where the flipper starts going out, you can see hair.
Uh-huh. He's running into our boat. He like doesn't even care, just scrapes up against it. That is so cool. There are so many things to see and do here. Folks, what I'm gonna do with this lobster, I was thinking about this as we were driving in. I'm just gonna cook it up straight up in salt water, because one of the things I discovered about crabbing the Oregon coast is people have all these like fancy ways of cooking crabs, and the best way that we've ever discovered is just to boil the crabs in salt water from the ocean. And so I think I'm going to do the same thing with one of these lobsters here, and I'm going to cook one now and try it out that way, and we're saving the other 3 for a family seafood meal a little later. But that is a nice catch today, especially for our first time out. We are so excited. I mean, that is, if you would have said we're gonna catch 4 keeper and see like 2 dozen lobster in our first outing, I don't know if I would have believed it. So wherever I travel, I always bring a portable cook setup, folks. You know, something just occurred to me. Is this pot big enough to hold a lobster? Fish you can squish in your frying pan, and it's very hard to squish a lobster. Oh yeah, okay, so he barely, there we go. Okay, that's not too bad at all. Well, especially if we take the smallest one. There we go. And this is something you guys might find interesting. So I have this bucket of seawater from the open ocean because I did not want to use this harbor water here. It's a little stagnant. You can see all the junk on the surface. It just doesn't have a lot of flow, and so I don't feel like harbor water is safe to use for cooking anything. But yeah, don't overthink it. I've learned with most crustaceans, people be like, oh, use Old Bay, use different boil stuff. And for certain things like crawdads that don't have a lot of flavor to them, that may be fine. Oh, good net. That may be fine, but for delicious things like crab and lobster, just boil them in salt water. All right, folks, I think what we're going to do is pick the smallest one, I think. And this one, let's see here. I broke off his antennae, I think, while we were out there because I grabbed him so violently that I didn't want him to get away since it's my first one. And I think we just drop him in there. There we go. Alright, so I thought he might kick and put up a fuss, but that was pretty simple. There we go. Just in case he kicks these guys, these are way stronger than you think. I'm just going to break off the antenna. There we go. Now he fits. Alright, give that about 10 minutes or so. Alright, let's check up on it. Ooh, oh, little steamy there. Ladies and gentlemen, starting to split in the back there. I think she's done. There's a little loose leg there. Don't know if there's going to be any meat in that, but check it out. I cannot believe a fresh caught lobster. That is so cool.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, that is cool.
I had to go back and get cleaned up. I'm gassed. So.
You snorkeled and dove. Yeah.
I'm tired, but it's a good tired. And this is the reward. I'll take it. Yes, indeed.
Should we say a prayer real quick?
Indeed. Yeah. Yes.
Amen.
Well,
all right. Just want to crack open. I would say we go straight for the tail.
I think so. Yeah. Let's. Oh boy.
Hot.
It's hot and it's sharp. But that's how we do it, as I recall. Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Let me take and clean that part off by doing this. There we go.
Let's crack that thing open. Oh, look at that.
All right. We had to let it cool for a second, guys.
Oh, my word.
And now we can grab it like we should.
Look at that.
Oh, that should pull right out of there.
Oh, my God.
Look at that big old piece of lobster. Nice. It was a full one, too.
Oh, my. Feel that.
It's just hefty. It's hefty. Here, I'll get a knife where you can cut it. Of course, plastic knife isn't going to serve me very well.
Yeah, that's all right. There we go.
There we are.
Look at all that
All right, I'm gonna grab the bigger piece.
Bon
Cheers.
appetit, cheers.
Nice
Here we
job.
go. Oh my goodness.
Guys, I was like, maybe we should get some butter for this.
No.
My dad said, why? He said, straight from the ocean.
Wow.
It doesn't need butter. I'm so used to having it with butter. I would like a little, but
Really?
it doesn't need it. It definitely doesn't need it.
No.
Pops,
If you
love
don't
snorkel.
get a chance to get out here to the Keys, you've got to do this. This is Asa, thanks for renting the boat. Thanks for getting us out there on them. What a fun day. What a fun day.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We hope you enjoyed. We have many more adventures to come. We'll see you in the next one.